It is very important. And what does that lifestyle mean? Our eating habits, sleeping habits, recreation, work habits. How many of you eat regularly? Okay. May not be in regulated manner, but regularly we eat. Sleep, you all sleep. How many of us work? We all work. Studies also work. Okay. And recreation, isn't it? So therefore, it's very practical. Now, chapter. Okay. Yeah. So this is what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about. Which yoga system is Krishna describing in 6th chapter? Ashtanga yoga system. Okay. Now in the verses from 10 to 32, the entire section, Krishna is explaining the stages of Ashtanga yoga. And 10 to 17, which we covered last time, is called as the practicing stage of Ashtanga yoga. You might not remember, Haribo, you might not remember the Sanskrit term, but if at all anyone remembers, any idea what was the Sanskrit term? For the practicing stage of Ashtanga yoga. You know that there's two stages, the practicing stage and the perfection stage, right? Yeah, I think everyone is very blank. We discussed in the previous class the two stages of Ashtanga yoga. Those are the limbs, and the perfected, the final limb is Samadhi. But there is a perfection practicing stage, which is the first half of Ashtanga yoga, and then one goes on to the perfection stage of Ashtanga yoga, where one can meditate into Samadhi. Prabhuji, is it Aruru and Arud? Okay, you're very close. It's Aruda and Arurukshu. Arurukshu and Aruda stage. So 10 to... I wrote it wrong. Okay. Aruruksha. Let me just share the screen. Actually, I forgot to share the screen. Okay, turn on the AC. So there's some flow of air. Okay, you're able to see the screen now. I'll show you. Here it's mentioned. Which verse does he mention? Third and fourth. Okay, I think it comes in some purport. It comes. Anyway, so from 10 to 17, what we discussed last time discusses about the practicing stage. That means people, the yogis who are not able at the platform of practice of meditation of dharana, dhyana, samadhi, for them they're still practicing, they're still trying to control the mind. So an important aspect of controlling the mind is to regulate our eating, sleeping, recreation, work habits. So the verses which we discussed last time is for people who are practicing Ashtanga yoga to attain the perfection stage. They are not yet perfected. So for that, Krishna explained the verses we discussed last time. He discussed about how we have to sit firmly in Ashtanga yoga. One has to sit firmly in a clean, sacred, and secluded place. That means you cannot sit anywhere and everywhere. There is a particular place, some auspicious place. I think someone is not mute online, as I'm able to hear some noise. Yeah, so we were discussing one of the practices in a practicing stage is to sit in a clean, sacred, and secluded place. And the platform where one sits cannot be too high nor too low. And it should be on a kusha grass covered with a deer skin. And on that, there should be a soft cloth. In case anyone's interested, you can note it down. And then one has to learn to fix his mind on one point. What is that point? Tip of the nose. Very good. Tip of the nose. Yeah. If you do, you'll get headache. Only for yogis. They have to practice it. Yeah. Controlling the mind. Then they should also control the mind and senses. And one should do yoga for the purification of consciousness, called as Atma Vishuddhaye. And how can we sit? Can we sit like Vishnu, lying down while doing yoga? Yeah, back erect. Like this. Like this. I'm sitting relaxed. You have to do yoga like that. You have to sit straight. and keeping the body, neck, and head straight, all in one line, and being motionless. You cannot move while doing yoga. Being motionless and firm, staring steadily at the tip of the nose. And finally, what do? They close their eyes while meditating on the nose. The consciousness is meditating on the Vishnu form in the heart, on the Paramatma form, the Lord, and withdrawing the mind from the sense objects and being fearless with a vow of celibacy. Hmm. See, celibacy is important. If you have watched that movie Milkha Singh, you have watched. You know why first time when he went to Olympics he could not get anything, right? He failed miserably. You know the reason. Why are you laughing? You know the reason or not? So therefore, vow of celibacy, hmm, making me the ultimate goal of life. Mat para. पता है ना रोहित Prabhu is more saint than me. He has not watched. Yeah. So these are the things required to practice Ashtanga Yoga. And in the 15th verse, we discussed about goal of Ashtanga Yoga. What is the goal of Ashtanga Yoga? By practicing the control of body, mind, and activities with regulated mind, the yogi attains two things. First one is cessation of material existence. That means he rises above material existence. No more material world, no more material body, no more material mind. It's called as Nirvana Paramam. And then second, he attains Vishnu's abode. That is Mats Samstha. Lord Krishna's abode here attains. So what is the goal of Ashtanga Yoga? By practicing Ashtanga Yoga, what do you get? Okay, cessation of material existence, and then okay, go to Vishnu's abode. Only Mataji is focusing, others are distracted. Actually, to perform Ashtanga Yoga, you need focus, which shows we are not qualified for Ashtanga Yoga. And then 16th and 17th, which we discussed last time, towards the end, is to control that mind, we need regulation and habits. That means how much to eat? Half stomach. Not too much, not too less. How much to sleep? Yeah. How much? 6 to 8 hours. Yes. At night time, not in daytime. So regulation of habits of eating, regulation in habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work in yoga mitigates all material suffering. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Dukkha means to cancel. So such a yoga system cancels out all dukkha. So today we'll go from 18th stage. Now 18 to 23, Krishna explains about the perfection stage. Till now we were talking about the practice stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Perfection stage we will see, and we will see what it means to be in perfection. We can only aspire for that stage. So we will see 18th onwards. Okay. Please repeat. Yada vinayatam chittam आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा युक्त इति उच्यते तदा so युक्त it युच्यते तदा yeah okay who has the mic and they can read yeah read is it on
When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga.
okay just a minute yeah you can read the activities of the yogi.
The activities of the yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person by his characteristic cessation from all kinds of material desires.
Yeah, that means a yogi is one who has stopped his material desires, not his desires, only the material desires. That means he has a lot of spiritual desires. Yeah.
Of which sex is the chief. A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. This perfection stage can automatically be attained by persons in Krishna
Yeah.
consciousness.
1 minute. So here a perfect yogi is one who is not disturbed by material desire. How many of us get disturbed by material desire? Prabhu doesn't have material desire. Prabhu has no desire.
I have desires, but I feel I don't get attached to the material desires.
No, you don't have to be. But do you get disturbed by material desire?
No.
No? Then you don't know what is disturbed by material desire. If you know what is being disturbed, I mean, I get disturbed by material desire.
I feel it depends upon the mood you are in. If you have mood of passion, then you won't feel disturbed of desires.
In mode of passion, you don't get disturbed.
No. But then you have certain targets in life, and I feel that's not a disturbance.
That's why disturbance means in this world people are forced to work hard. Mm. Of course, you stop a person. Generally in New York City, people are they don't walk, they pace walk. You've seen that? They're walking, they're rushing somewhere. You just stop and say, "Hey, just 1 minute." He says, "No time. I have to go somewhere." So people are so busy because they're actually disturbed by the material desire. Mujhe karna, I have to fulfill them. I have this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing. I have to. I'm working hard day in and day out, trying to fulfill this desire, that desire, and therefore it's called as disturbance.
That's the choice that we got, right?
No,
We are forced to do.
actually, Arjuna says in the third chapter, Krishna, what is that verse? Atta kena prayuktoyam. That means he's saying, my dear Lord, I don't want to be, I know certain things are wrong, certain things are right, but still, even though I know what things are wrong, but still the wrong, I'm pushed to do the wrong from inside, isn't it? Today, of course, people don't even know what is wrong, what is right, isn't it? So therefore, people can even justify saying that, yeah, I choose to smoke. You don't choose to smoke. You would take out the cigarette from his hand. Immediately, he'll catch your collar, isn't it? Why? Because he's not choosing to smoke. The cigarette has chosen him, isn't it? So he is being victimized by the sense object. So now, when the intelligence is out, so then he thinks that, yeah, I choose to smoke. Actually, he's not choosing to smoke. So you tell him, okay, now don't choose to smoke. Can he do it? No. Then he has to go to rehabilitation center. So in this way, the material desire has victimized the living entities, and the living entities are being forced to perform activities despite their will. And therefore, Arjuna is asking this question in the third chapter, which we covered. Arjuna is asking Krishna, why am I forced to do those things even though I know they're wrong? Even though I know I don't have to do it, I should not be doing it, still I'm forced to do it. Many a times, because like all of you said here, there's no one new. Oh, Prabhu, you're here for the first time?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the name?
Ayush.
Ayush. Okay. Thank you for coming. But most of you have been coming for some time. You have been attending classes. You sometimes we know that uh, some spiritual life is very important. If possible, we should give 100% to spiritual life. Can anyone do it? Anyone? You have the guts to say 100% tomorrow onwards to Krishna. One life for Krishna. We have given an unlimited lives for Maya, for material existence. One life for Krishna from tomorrow. I'm joining the temple, Prabhu. Anyone here? Prabhu?
Then we have
You know why not?
responsibilities.
That's okay. You know why not? That's because, yeah, responsibilities, that is what? That is the thing. So we are not choosing. Are you able to understand? How we are not choosing it?
We don't have the desire to choose the spiritual path.
You don't have that's the problem. Therefore, Arjuna is asking this. So I know, because we have been attending for some time, we know Krishna consciousness is very important. We have to be chanting, developing taste, we have to be serving Krishna, serving the temple. All this is there, but we are not able to take that stand and give 100% to Krishna consciousness because we also have other side. That means 100% conviction is not there. Then there's no question of choice. So that means we are forced to act in the material world. Though, okay, how many of you desire one day I want to give 100% to Krishna? Yeah. So that is there. So desire is there, but you cannot do it. That means from the heart, there is something in the heart that is pushing us in the material world to act in the material world. And this question Arjuna asks in the third chapter. And you know what Krishna says? What is the reason? Why am I pushed? Who is pushing me? I push others. Who dare push me? Krishna says, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajuguna Samudbhava. The mode of passion is pushing. You said there's no disturbance mode of passion. Mode of passion is the cause of disturbance, isn't it? And from mode of passion, what is that? Kama, lust. And as Prabhupada says, of which sex is the chief, sex desire. Hmm. And that is what is pushing the living entity in this material world. And we may call fancy words responsibility, मुझे करना है, देश के लिए कुछ करना है, परिवार के लिए कुछ करना है. These are all, it's only name giving ceremony, give nice names to all these things, but it's actually the passion inside, like that. So therefore we are all disturbed.
Isn't
The
the
material
Karam
desire
Yog mark used?
used.
No, like we could follow that track as well. Like we could.
You know what is karma yoga?
Yes,
What is it?
that I'm not uh, attached to the results, and I'm I'm just working for the sake of working, and then everything is in hand of Krishna. Whatever results he give, I'll be happy with that. But
That's not karma yoga. Okay, now you all of you heard what he's saying about karma yoga. Okay, who can fill him up? He said said some aspect, but something crucial things are missing in karma yoga definition. Yes.
From my notes, I have Param Yoga is working through with which you can connect with God.
Yeah, you have to do that work which pleases God. Then it's karma yoga.
even Arjun isn't doing Karam Yogi. Is Krishna getting happy with the Mahabharata? Yes.
Yeah,
No, but
he is the reason, no, for Mahabharata. Gandhari said no. Gandhari cursed Krishna also because of you. You should have watched the Mahabharata serial.
so,
Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight, therefore Arjuna is fighting, by the way.
so Krishna wanted to fight in our life. We have to also fight for certain things, right?
Okay. So Karma Yoga, yeah.
I have one observation that came across today. So actually it's not even new, but I came into the city maybe an hour early, like around 3:30 p.m. and I was like, I can either go to ISKCON right away, or I spend 1 hour uh, writing something, and then I go around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then I sit. So then I questioned myself. I said that if my goal is to be, fully surrender and continuously be spiritual and give this life to Krishna, shouldn't I be going to the temple right away?
Yeah,
And
correct.
serve? But then I thought that this is also maybe I need this 1 hour. I need to write something needs to be written through this body. I don't know what it is. I don't need to know. But I need to spend that 1 hour and then go to the temple, you know. And then that reminded me of I went to a gurdwara in Nanded,
Mm.
and I met this lady who, after her husband passed away, from past 9 years she has been doing seva in Gurdwara. I looked at her and I was like, okay, her purpose, her life, whatever her destiny or karma is, she's supposed to serve like this. But something, a voice inside me said, maybe my serving is through some other actions. So now if I try to connect what Prabhu is saying over here, um, coming to the temple and completely surrendering to Krishna's service does may not mean coming to the temple for each soul that is here on the planet. Maybe every soul is also meant to do certain karmas, but while they are doing that karma, they can be in whenever I mean sometimes I cannot do Hare Krishna, Hare Rama when I'm thinking because my mind is being used in calculating certain things. But when I'm not calculating at that point when I'm in the cafe, I can still remember Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, but good that you use the prefix maybe, because Many people have this conception that yes, I'm here for a particular purpose, a unique purpose that is not meant for anyone else but me. Hmm? So such a purpose is not mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. The purpose of the conditioned soul, especially in the human form of life, is to practice Krishna consciousness and go back to spiritual world, which is not a unique purpose, it's a common purpose of all conditioned souls, isn't it? So sometimes people have a tendency to work. Hmm? And when the tendency to work, which is not bad, please don't take me wrong, the tendency to work is not bad, but at the same time, say for example, um, I like to okay, since Sachin Prabhu is here, I like to do boxing. Yeah, talking from his ego point of view. Hmm? I like to do boxing, and now if someone says, "Hey, what is this boxing?" Just surrender to Krishna and just chant Hare Krishna all the time. Well, the rajas inside is pushing my ego, to do boxing because I consider myself as a boxer. That's my identity. So it's not immediately, you cannot jump to the platform of bhakti. I mean, 100% surrender. It's not possible. And therefore, what do we say? Tiki, Prabhu, don't, when you're boxing, just box those people who are blaspheming Krishna. You're dovetailing the tendency because you cannot cut off the tendency. Is it clear? So what you do, whatever tendency you have, you connect it. So then one cannot say, yeah, this is how I serve Krishna. Yeah, that is how you are trying to serve Krishna. But of course, if you want to really serve Krishna, that's not the best way. The best way is, Krishna says in the fourth chapter, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashna sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnana sattva darshanaha. Go to my pure devotee who has seen me, who has realized me, and ask him, surrender to him, ask him questions and ask him, how should I serve you? Go to a guru, get a guru and ask. And guru will say, give up boxing. Then Sachin has to give up boxing. If guru says continue boxing, he can continue. That is real surrender. And Arjuna came to that point. Arjuna finally tells Krishna, finally Krishna, you tell me what I should do. And Krishna says, fight for me. Ma manusmara yuddhicha. Remembering me, you fight.
Exactly. Remembering me, you fight. So that's his current.
No, you didn't understand. No, you didn't understand that. You didn't understand the context. That is, before that, Arjuna was the point. The point of surrender is what? Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. That is surrender. That means give up, be ready to give up everything. Are you ready to? If I like cooking and my guru says don't cook for your life, am I ready to give up that? It's not easy. So therefore, best way for me to proceed ahead, guru will say, "Okay, you cannot give it up. You're not at that level yet. Okay, you cook for Krishna." So Arjuna was ready. He had come to the point of surrender, means he was ready to do whatever it takes to please Krishna. And then finally he told Krishna, you tell me what I should do. Should I quit the battle? Should I fight the war? Should I, whatever it is. You will fight and I will become the charioteer. Whatever it is, you tell me. Krishna said, Ma Manusmara Yuddhacha. You fight. And therefore he fought. Understand? No? There's a difference. Arjuna is a warrior, therefore he fought for Krishna. Versus Arjuna was at the point of surrender, complete surrender, and he fought only because Krishna wanted him to. If you ask Arjuna separately, what would you like to do? Would you like to fight or not? Arjuna prefers not to fight. Why did Arjuna fight? For Krishna Seva. That is actual surrender. So now today people are not at the point of that surrender. We don't have guts to say, Prabhu, you please tell me whatever you tell me, I will do. I will say, okay, I have extra pair of saffron clothes. I have my buzzer. We'll shave the head, wear saffron, and join the temple. Are you ready for that? Huh, Prabhu is saying yes. Be careful, Mataji. Isn't it? So therefore, we are not at that level. So then what will Prabhu say? Prabhu will say, okay, Prabhu, I'm ready to serve. I can donate some temple. I can donate some Lakshmi to temple. I can come for, on weekends I have some time, I can come and serve in the temple. You will give options. From that, Guru has to choose what option. Because if a Guru says, okay, give up everything and join the temple, we are not there yet. Why we are not there yet? Problem is, we have that passion inside. You cannot just remove the passion. It has to be purified. So therefore, there's three statements: curb ignorance, diminish passion, enrich goodness. That means curb ignorance means you have to completely shut off the ignorance. Ignorance is only for sleeping. And then rajas, diminish as much as possible, reduce it. And enrich goodness, bring out sattva, build sattva in life. And gradually surrender happens. So therefore, we should know what is ideal and where am I, and try to be humble, not to claim that I am already there. Prabhu, I am always a pure devotee. I always think of Krishna. Whenever I see Krishna, I cry tears, and my mind is 100% controlled. I don't get disturbed by material desires. This is all. This is called ignorance. It is not awareness. In awareness, we understand our true pathetic condition. That pathetic condition is to pick up the bead bag is like picking up 10 kg weight. We have no taste, isn't it? If I ask some students, are you chanting? They said, yes, Prabhu, sometimes I chant. Why? Because no taste, isn't it? So now if someone is chanting 192 rounds like Haridas Thakur, every day he would chant 192 rounds. That means whole day is chanting only. And not like our chanting. We're doing travel, while driving, while talking, not like that chanting. Sitting in one place and focused on the holy name. That type of chanting, Haridas Thakur did. If anyone says, Prabhu, I have no material desire disturbing my mind, and I'm chanting daily 192 rounds or at least 64 rounds, then we can accept it. I accept that you have no disturbance from material desire. But if someone says, I have no disturbance from material desire, how many rounds you chant? What are you doing for Krishna? Nothing. That means you're being controlled by material desire to such an extent you don't even know that I'm being controlled by material desire. Does that make sense? Yeah. Is some other, you have a raising hand, right? Prabhu?
Prabhuji, in the conclusion of that, right, you said like
Right.
who can join the campaign.
Don't take it seriously. I was just joking.
I know, but
I want that all of you work hard and you donate your Lakshmi to Krishna.
yeah, Prabhuji, but on that note only, like,
You can come little side so that she gets some space. A lot to be covered today,
on
by the way.
only, if they are
You have the mic so that just online they can
serving
hear
our
you.
family, if we are serving our family, that is also one kind of seva to Krishna, because my dharam says that I should
Who's the Ram?
my dharam as
My
a
dharam?
son.
No, I am not son. I fell from the sky directly.
No, you got that kind of consciousness. कि, okay, my
So with
other
that
dharam,
consciousness, then you can do that.
I feel like
So therefore, these things are is little deep, and also our what can be spoken at what level. Like I'm not going to speak college undergrad level to someone who's in second standard. So we also have to see how much can I handle it. Now I cannot say, Prabhu, that's all Maya. Will you be able to take it? So I will not even say it. So we have to. It's according to our progress, and therefore doubts come. The doubts come because we are not deep enough to see it. We don't. We never say don't do seva to parents. Seva to parents, but who is a real father? Do you know who? Like the God? नाम तो होगा. Krishna is your real father. Radharani is your real mother. So उनका सेवा तो करो. I am doing that. Real dharma. You can join me. I had option. Everyone has option. I have my brother. Okay. I can tell you so many other examples where that person only had mother and sister. So it's not like that. It's so therefore these things are you need different venues to discuss different topics. There are different level of discussions that happens.
I have a question, Prabhu.
Okay.
If there is a guru and
So what should I do to you if you don't allow me to complete the purport?
it's a really small
Okay.
question. If a guru has like 10 different students, the guru would understand what are they meant for, because guru can understand like is this person ready to wear the saffron or not. So
Correct.
the example you gave, like everyone has that purpose, like they need to be detached from everything one day, but maybe
Okay.
they are not ready or they're
You're
not
saying
at the
one day everyone has to come to a point of full surrender to Krishna.
yes.
Okay.
and till then we have different provisions made in our
Correct.
religion or dharma. Like we
Okay.
have grahast ashram, or like we have
Correct. Yes.
different forms that we could practice
According to our level of progress in spiritual
for
life. Yeah,
spirituality. So
I
it's
agree.
not like if someone's in grahast ashram or they have a family, they can't achieve God. They could do it as well, or someone
Perfect.
needs to
Yes, of
surrender.
course. Of course. Yeah.
So we could have our materialistic goals as well. They shouldn't like harm, or they shouldn't be like full of greed.
They should not be an obstacle for spiritual progress. Let's put it that way.
If I can maintain my spiritual progress and also maintain the material desires that I have that are aligned with Krishna, so I could work on them and still practice
Actually, no.
Krishna
No,
consciousness.
you cannot.
No. So
You
so
cannot.
so does this whole thing promotes mediocre life? Like if I have enough food,
Mediocre life. Can you maybe
like
use another word? Mediocre may not be the right word.
like uh, a life that
Because many of
is
your friends are practicing Krishna consciousness. You just called all of them mediocre.
no, not in that sense.
Okay.
I'm talking about someone who lives outside and
Yeah.
has a
Yeah.
house.
Bansal Prabhu stays outside.
Maybe the desires would be like, okay, I have a family, I have decent car, decent food to eat, and
Correct.
that's enough. Krishna has given me everything. They might
You're
not
saying
get
simple life.
simple life.
Simple life is not mediocre life. Yeah.
Okay, so is that promoting a simple lifestyle? That means
Of
like
course, yes. We are promoting simple lifestyle. We are saying no. You don't have to go behind the flashy glamour of the material world. That is Maya's presentation. What is Maya's presentation? It is called a Shruti Sukha. Shruti Sukha means very nice to hear, very nice to see, but substance is nothing. Just imagine on your birthday, I give you a big present, nice purple, the glittery purple wrapper, and you open the ribbon and you open the wrapper and you open the box. There's nothing inside. Will you be happy? That's Maya. Because when you look at the box, you think there's something very substantial because big box. But when you open inside, there's nothing. Hmm? Or worse, Maya actually you see in this world, everyone is attracted to bodies, right? Human body. So as Prabhupada says, of which sex is the chief. So don't mind. It's just a little stronger if you can handle it or not. But generally, you see, the beauty of this material body is a millimeter thick. What is the beauty of this material body? It's just metal 1 millimeter. You just open 1 millimeter skin. Can you find beauty? Rather, it's all disgusting. What does it mean? The packaging industry is very nice. What is internal substance? Horrible. Mm. The human body is the bag of Bhagavatam says of stool, mucus, bile, air, and all other nasty substances, blood, etc., etc. But how it is packed? You see, na, such a beautiful girl. How it is nice packing. That is Maya. Package is very nice, but when you open the package, inside blood and muscle, and you think that is beautiful.
no.
Okay. So that is Maya. So when people say that I want to, I want some posh living, posh luxury, and everything, we say don't go behind this Maya, behind this because it's Maya. That is not going to make you happy. If you say I want it, even if it doesn't make me happy, take it, go. You're free. I want it, even if it doesn't make me happy. I want to work hard like a donkey, even if it doesn't make me happy. Oh, you're free. Your free will. I mean, Krishna doesn't interfere. But if you're looking for happiness, that's not where it is. So therefore, if you want to put focus on that goal, which will actually bring happiness to our lives, then first of all we have to understand how can I be happy, not through luxury in material life. First of all, we need conviction there, and for that, till the time we don't understand, and as you used the set of words, maintaining material desires, that means the progress will be very slow or to the point halted. Maintaining material desires. At the same time, I don't say that we don't have material. I will not say I don't have material desires. Even I have material desires. But if it comes in conflict with my Krishna consciousness, I'm ready to put it aside because you need to know what is the focus, right? But at the same time, say Krishna has given you a position that you became very rich. So I don't say that you should not wear a nice coat. I don't say you should not wear nice clothes. You should not live in a nice place. You should not purchase a nice a Tesla. You can do that, no problem. But if you think I maintain my material desire means what, that will bring me happiness, you will be there to be disappointed. That is the point. Hmm? So therefore, we say don't endeavor for something which is not going to give you happiness. These things will come. If Krishna gives you, no problem, use it. But more, use more for Krishna seva. And therefore, in Bhagavatam, there are so many examples where you see Prabhupada quotes. Please repeat. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanuvarnane karau harer mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakarachyuta satkatodaya मुकुन्दलिङ्गालय दर्शने दिशौ तद्वृत्तगात्र स्पर्शेङ्गसङ्गमम् घ्राणं च तत्पादसरोजसौरभे सौरभ श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनां तदर्पिते आदौ हरे क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्ये न तु कामकाम्यया यतोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रयारति. So these verses are talking about King Ambrish, and King Ambrish was not king of one country. King Ambrish was the king of the entire world. So he has all the riches, all the ministers, saluting him first thing in the morning. How in the Bhagavatam it is explained when he has to wake up early in the morning, he is woken up by great singers singing beautiful bhajans of the Lord for him. When he's going to sleep, there are again singers singing lullaby songs of God for him. And that's how his whole day is remaining Krishna conscious. And it's in these three verses, it talks about how he uses everything he has in Krishna Seva. You'll see. See, King Ambrish first of all engaged his mind. Savai manah Krishna padaravindayor. He used his mind he engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. What did he do with his words? He didn't abuse anyone. His words, he used them in describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord. What did he do with his hands? Mopping the temple of the Lord. Who is he? King Ambrish, king of the whole world. He is using his hands to mop the temple of the Lord. Now today you don't even mop with hand, you just use stick. Correct, no? He is getting on his knees and using his hand to mop the temple of the Lord. His ears in hearing the activities of the Lord. And then his eyes in seeing the transcendental beauty of whom? Lord's beauty, not any other beauty. His body, he's touching the bodies of the devotees. That means there's a sensation of touch, but then you can touch the lotus feet of the devotees. Isn't it? While dancing, you can hold the hands of the other devotees. So he's touching the bodies of the devotees. His sense of smell in smelling the scents of the lotus flowers offered to the Lord. His tongue in tasting tulsi leaf offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. If you go to Tirupati, Balaji in Andhra Pradesh, when you go there, or any Balaji temple, Venkateshwar temple, they give you this much amount of tulsi leaves. You've seen that? Or even Rangnath temple in South India, they just you can just carry a whole bag of tulsi leaves offered to the Lord. India is therefore a place for spirituality. How much tulsi leaves they offer? Huge bushes of tulsi. So he would use his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaf offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. And tasting the tulsi is so important. Even the Kumaras, the 4 Kumaras, they became devotees not after looking at Vishnu, after smelling the fragrance of tulsi that was on the lotus feet of Vishnu. See, therefore tulsi is bhakti pradayini. She gives bhakti to the Lord. His legs, what did he do with his legs? Go to company. Yeah, place of pilgrimage. And the temple of the Lord. His head, in offering obeisances unto the Lord. His desires, he uses desires in executing the mission of the Lord. So if someone has a desire, I want to become a next CEO of a top company. no problem. But use that CEO position to execute the mission of the Lord. That means expand Prabhupada's movement. Share Bhagavad Gita with all the employees. If you have that such a strong desire, Krishna will give you the position. Why? Because you will only make the best use of it. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. So King Ambrish had everything. But what is he doing with his senses? How much is it mentioned? He went to Levi's to purchase jeans pant. Huh? he's he's not after luxury. His focus is Krishna Seva. But what Krishna awards him, because he has his desire is to serve the Lord, Krishna gives more and more facility, more and more facility. Sri Prabhupada writes in one purport in the 8th chapter, Gajendra section, he says that just look at this Hare Krishna movement. No one can imitate the success of the Hare Krishna movement. We went from 40 rupees to 40 crores in a matter of 10 years. Can anyone do that? So Srila Prabhupada says this is because we only have the desire to please Krishna. So then Krishna is giving immensely. And Prabhupada didn't pay any employee. And that's what shocked many of the, CEOs, other company, because they were thinking, how is he getting so many people working for him without accepting a salary? How many of you will work for a company without salary? Only Aryan Prabhu. Apart from Aryan Prabhu. without any material perks. Yeah, no. But in for Prabhupada, people are working completely giving the heart and soul for Sri Prabhupada. Why? Why? Because the movement is glorifying Krishna, isn't it? So therefore, Prabhupada mentions Ambrish Maharaj, the King Ambrish, for his devotion to Krishna. And similarly, therefore, such a devotee, a perfect yogi, is not disturbed by material desires. Because there's no time to think of material desires. Whatever he gets, he uses in Krishna Seva. Hmm? Yeah. Then Prabhupada says this transcendental stage may be inexpressible subjectively by the followers of the impersonalistic path. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagements are not practical. This is only possible for those people whose minds are attracted to Krishna, to Krishna's lotus feet. It is not possible for ordinary people to engage everything in Lord's Seva. Hmm. For us, we get little profit immediately. 50. You know that story? That one devotee went to Balaji and he told Balaji that may I get this lottery of 1 lakh rupees, then I will give you 50% or something. And he won the lottery, but then he did not go and give 50%. So then what did Balaji do? His friend was pushing, hey, you have to go and give. You have to give something to the Supreme Lord. Actually, not 50. Yeah, he won the lottery. Instead of 1 lakh, he won only 50,000 rupees. So when his friend said, "Go and give the money to Balaji as promised," because if you won 50,000 rupees, how much should you give to Balaji? 25,000 rupees. So he said, "No, no, Lord has taken his share already. 50,000. He only gave me 50,000 straight away." So the friend said, "No, no, don't try to cheat the Lord, because he is the cheater of the cheaters." Yeah, the cheater of the cheaters. So then, they both went. This fellow also went grudgingly to the Balaji temple. And then, there's a big hundi when you do pradakshina. There's a big hundi. And he acted as if he put something, but he didn't put anything. And he said, "Okay, let's go back. I put my donation." And he left the temple. And on the way back, he had a ring which went missing. And then he was looking everywhere and he could never find. And then his friend asked, "Hey, you're so anxious about the ring. How much was the cost?" He said 24,999 rupees. So in this way, yeah, Krishna does take his share. Isn't it? No one can cheat the Lord. So if our mind is not focused on the Supreme Lord, we cannot do anything for the Lord. Isn't it? Yeah. See, such transcendental engagements are practical. In the devotional service of the Lord, therefore, these prescribed activities are called archana, or engaging senses in service of the Lord. Okay. And Prabhupada talks about how they need engagement. Okay, now we are still in 619. I thought we'll go to 630. Okay, now this is also very important verse. So just a reminder, 18 to 23, Krishna is talking about perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga. Hmm? Now, how does a devotee in perfection, how does his mind, how is his senses, how does he behave in Ashtanga Yoga? Now we'll read the verse. Yata deepo nivatastho
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो
नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता
नेङ्गते सोपमास्मृता
योगिनो यत चित्तस्य
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य
युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः.
युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः.
Someone with the mic. You can just read the translation.
From like as a lamp.
Yes.
As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self.
Yeah. So just as lamp in a windless place does not waver, the mind is completely controlled for a perfected Ashtanga yogi. Probably your mind is also fully controlled. Mhm. So for such a person, he remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. Mhm. So you can say here, the lamp, you have seen if there is no wind, you can see the beautiful form of the lamp. But when there is a wind, it is always chanchal, it's always flickering. So therefore, our mind is compared to the lamp, and the wind is compared to the material desires. The material desires, or you can say the lust, anger, greed, which is agitating the mind at all times. What is agitating the mind? What is becoming an obstacle for us to surrender to Krishna is the lust, anger, and greed. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, and Madamatsarya. And what is I missing? Moha. Moha, Madamatsarya. So these anarthas in the heart, they act as the wind. So till the time there is wind of lust, anger, greed, and of course arising from them the material desires, till then the mind, the flame of the mind cannot be still. It is not possible. And ironically, people want to maintain material desires at the same time they want peace of mind. It is not possible. There's a verse. You know that verse? Only a Krishna Bhakta is Shant. Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakalaya Shant. Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakalaya Shanta. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataeva Shanta. That means only a Krishna devotee, he attains peace of mind. Why? Because he has no lust, no anger, no greed. Whatever he does is not that he becomes activity less or he becomes senseless, mindless. No. He has all these facilities, but everything is used for pleasure of Krishna. And nothing, there is no selfish purpose for his activities. Because of which there is no agitation in the mind. Because of which he attains peace automatically as a byproduct. He doesn't have to work for peace of mind, a devotee. Yeah, so we were talking about how the mind is compared to the lamp and the wind is compared to material desires that is born of lust, anger, and greed. So therefore the mind is always chanchal, it's always going here and there, it's always disturbed, it's always affected by our material situations, and the prime cause is lust, anger, greed, and the material desire results in these material desires agitate the mind. Okay, next. Yatro paramate chittam
यत्रो परमते चित्तम्
niruddham yoga sevaya
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
yatra chaivatmanatmanam
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति
सुखम आत्यन्तिकं यत्ता
सुखमात्यन्तिकं
बुद्धिग्राह्यं अतीन्द्रियं
बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियम्
वेति यत्र चायवायं
वेति यत्र न चैवायम्
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं
यं लब्ध्वा चरं लाभं
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
गुरुणापि विचाल्यते
गुरुणापि विचाल्यते
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोगा
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोगा
वियोगं योगसंज्ञितम्
वियोगं योगसंहितम्.
Okay, long translation. Okay, next. Adu. You know your mic.
In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from the material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self.
Okay, we'll just pause there. So, when the mind is completely pure, you can actually see yourself as I am the spirit soul, I am not this material body. That means all the external identification we have in this world, all our different, whatever we relate to in the material world, as a student, as a son, as a parent, as a husband, as a wife, as a mathematician, as a physician, as a doctor, as an engineer, also countless number of identities we have. Everything is because we accept that I am this body. But when the mind has become completely pure, one sees that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, the driver of this body. And therefore, this is very, very important for us to come to that understanding. And that realization only dawns to the degree our mind has become pure. From what? From lust, anger, greed, which results in material desires. To the degree the mind is not pure, we cannot even understand that I am the spirit soul. If we don't understand I'm the spirit soul, I'm not this body, whatever level of people like to discuss about Radha Krishna Leela, people want to discuss about Krishna and the gopis, it's all simply bogus. They cannot even understand. For them it looks like a very nice fantasy because it's a boy girl thing. Therefore they like to discuss. Isn't it? Therefore Prabhupada never appreciated. Without having a pure mind, you cannot dwell on this subject matter. Therefore, we discuss about Tattva, Bhagavad Gita. See what Krishna is speaking. Even the message of the Gita, it's very little technical, but it purifies the heart. So, to the degree we purify the mind, to that degree our mind can talk about higher subject matters. Mind will dwell on higher subject matters. Otherwise, an impure mind only goes for impure desires, trying to lord over the material nature, trying to prove that I am something in this world, trying to show that I am the best in this field. Yeah, continue, Prabhu.
In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain.
Yes, only with the pure mind you can understand at the platform of Krishna consciousness there is nothing higher than this. In the material world, however, how much of a degree you might attain, it is never complete. There is no summit of knowledge because they don't know what is ultimate knowledge, isn't it? But here, Krishna is telling Arjuna that once you understand this knowledge of Krishna, you don't have to know anything else. This is summit of knowledge. In this connection, there is one devotee was sharing this story. Once, there were two friends. One friend had an eye problem, a right eye problem, and they were in a train. So he wanted to really show it to some doctor. So they went to one bogie and asked everyone, "Is there any doctor here?" So there was no doctor. There were engineers, there were lawyers, there were CA, all other people. So they went from bogie 1 to bogie 2 to bogie 3. Finally, the 13th bogie, the 13th or 14th last bogie, they found actually the entire bogie was full of doctors. They were all going towards medical conference. So they became happy. So they asked the first doctor they met, "Can you please treat him? He has a right eye problem." He said, "Sorry, I'm a cardiologist. I'm a heart doctor." Then they went to the next doctor and said, "Can you please treat him? He has eye problem." He said, "Sorry, I'm a dermatologist. I'm a skin doctor." Then they went to the next doctor. He said, "No, I'm ENT specialist." The other doctor said, "No, I'm teeth dental doctor. I'm a dentist." So like that, they went doctor after doctor. Everyone had some or the other focus of study, and they could not meet an eye doctor. And final, the last doctor they met, he said, "My friend has an eye problem. Can you please treat him?" He said, "Yes, I am actually an eye doctor. I can help him." And then he took out his tools and he started going. He was about to operate on him, and then he said, with a great dismay, he said, "I'm very sorry, I cannot operate on your friend because he has problem on the right eye, and I'm a left eye doctor." So in this world, this is to show that in this world you can keep gaining knowledge, but you don't come to the end of knowledge, isn't it? You can do PhD after PhD, but still you're so far away from ultimate knowledge. Whereas here, what does Krishna says? What does Krishna say? Established thus. Sorry, yeah, here. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. That means the summit of all knowledge, the spiritual knowledge. Continue, Prabhu.
Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
Yeah. So this is the perfected stage of Ashtanga Yoga practice. In Samadhi, these realizations come in Samadhi, complete pure mind. That time there is no disturbance. One has complete peace of mind. You're not affected by anything. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll just go to the next one. Okay, so this is 1823, the perfectional stage. And okay, see one note, this state of Samadhi or trance is the real freedom from all material miseries, because there's nothing to do with the material world, it is said here. Now 24 to 32, attaining perfection Ashtanga Yoga. How to attain perfection Ashtanga Yoga is mentioned from next section, verse number 24 to verse number 32. Okay, so in this, Krishna explains the method to attain perfection Ashtanga Yoga, and he gives prominence to developing focus or control of mind. It's only through developing focus or control of mind can one attain perfection in Ashtanga Yoga. Actually, that was what I really wanted to discuss today, but we could not do much. So, what I will do is we will pause here and we will see, just to give a heads up. So, next section of verses, what happens is Krishna gives methods of how to attain perfection and focusing mainly on how to control the mind and develop focus. And then Arjuna submits. He says, "My dear Lord, this does not seem to me," and I'll tell you the exact words he uses. It's not in this. I'll show you. After he hears how to attain perfection, this is Arjuna's realization of Ashtanga Yoga, which we'll discuss next time. Arjuna said, sixth chapter, 633. No, this we will discuss next time. We will start from 624. So Arjuna said, "Oh Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unstable." So this is Arjuna's conclusion of Ashtanga Yoga. Krishna was explaining there are two stages in Ashtanga Yoga, the practicing stage and perfection stage. And this is practicing stage characteristic, the perfection stage, perfected stage characteristic, and how to attain, go from practicing stage to perfection stage. After understanding all this, Arjuna's conclusion is impractical and unendurable. And then he says, why? Because my mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. I think it is more difficult to, and to subdue it, I think is more difficult than controlling the mind. Then Krishna answers, Arjuna, it is possible by renunciation and practice and detachment. And finally, Krishna concludes this chapter in a very nice way. He says, finally, Arjuna, you have to become a yogi. But you know what? You're actually the best yogi, he says. He didn't even have to practice Ashtanga Yoga. Krishna's conclusion is, see, a yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than an empiricist, and greater than a fruitive worker. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. And finally, he says, of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. That means what? The pure devotee practicing bhakti yoga is the topmost yogi. After describing the entire Ashtanga yoga system, Krishna's conclusion is, Arjuna, don't worry about it. Why? Because you are my pure devotee. you're actually the best yogi. This is the conclusion. So we'll discuss further on all this next time. Okay, so we'll just pause here in case anyone has any questions or any reflection you want to share, or maybe next 2 minutes you can share. When there is a chance for question and answer, then there's no question. Okay. Anything from online? Okay, so what we will do is we will chant Hare Krishna. You have the beads.